How you going today, Hendrik?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today, Luke?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Do you want to give us a rundown on how your little event that you went to? I think you saw some interesting people a couple of days ago.
Yeah. What was it? Last Monday, I went to I think it's like the NAC kind of like national kind of Australian something.
Yeah.
But like they brought like a bunch of like speakers and all that. It's by a company from Success Resources hired people to come down. So yeah, I definitely did get to see some interesting people. A lot of big people in the market. Got to see Grant Cardone, massive real estate kind of like dude, businessman, kind of like billionaire. I saw Gary V, which was awesome.
Was that your first time seeing him? Or
that was the first time seeing Gary V. I missed out when he came last time. So that was sick. Another one that was interesting that I found really good was a guy called Adam Hudson. He kind of teaches people to run Amazon businesses. So he gave a lot of insight on that, which was really interesting.
That would have been good for you.
And yeah, there was a bunch of other people. I can't remember the names. But like everyone was like really, really good. It was amazing. It was an awesome event.
Yeah, cool. Got a key takeaway that they were going on about?
Yeah, I guess the key takeaway that I kind of took from them was they were saying, it kind of just got drilled into me by everyone. Like it started the event started at I think 8 in the morning up until 7 p.m. at night, full day. And everyone was just drilling into our heads. It's like, time is not guaranteed. You've got nothing to lose. Like, why aren't you taking that next leap of faith to jump to where you want to be? Yeah. And I found that it was I already knew that in my head, but after it was just drilled into me by all these people who have made it really in the top 1%, it kind of gave me a lot more perspective. Yeah. Kind of how, time is really limited here, and I really don't have nothing to lose when I kind of think I have something to lose.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how you're saying because I think people only learn something when they're ready to hear it. Like you can hear the same message 1,000 times. Yeah. And that's a big part. You're only ready to change. You're only ready to learn. You're only ready to grow when you're ready. It's all on you. Anyone can tell you what to do, but until you're ready, until you actually understand, and then you hear it for that 5th time and you're like, oh, nah, this is it. We're going, here we go, boys. Until it's and that's why the repetition's good, because you always hear the messages, but until you're ready to receive it, until you're ready to actually hear it, then you can action it. So yeah, time is limited. It's
the whole thing of how you can't change someone unless they want to be changed. It's that whole same thing.
Yeah.
And time is really limited, and I've always knew that from a young age through everything that's kind of happened with all the events and all that. But at this conference, it was I was everything that's going on in life, it's super limited. And sure, I had to, the average lifespan means I'm gonna live et cetera amount, but every single day, hours and minutes and seconds are disappearing. So what am I doing to kind of better myself?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's you understand that more when I guess you do experience a loss of any kind, about how fragile life is. And I think a lot of people play the game like they have all the time in the world. Yeah. And whatever it is, 80 years is not long at all. It goes so fast. Your weeks go fast. So if your weeks go fast.
I don't remember what I did last week.
No, exactly. I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Thursday?
Friday? Thursday? No, Thursday.
That's all right. So it's the same deal though. And you're and that's kind of how I've always carried a certain attitude and mentality of mine. I've always been kind of very direct and always had kind of that bit of a bite to it. And it's just, my mindset is, well, again, there's nothing to lose. And you look at these great people who have achieved so much, and they're saying it because, and I think you mentioned that, to me about kind of that similar message about, there's these great people and all that, but the reason why they say it is because, for one, they're balling out of control. Yeah. And they're again, what do you have to lose? Mm-hmm. You're a speck of dirt on the ground. You're an ant on this huge earth, pretty much. So why are you spending time playing it safe? Yeah. Why are you holding on to that couple of thousands of dollars? Why are you walking around like these eggshells? Why aren't you going after what you want and being so direct and having that kind of even aggressive nature to say, well, I deserve it, my family deserves it, so I'm going to fight for it and I'm going to do whatever I can to capture it, because at the end of the day, like, that life could be taken away from you. So why are we playing safe? Why are we so stuck on defense all the time? Like, you actually got to switch it up, go on the offense, go after what you want, go after what you think your family deserves by whatever means that is, memories, holidays, money, however you want to qualify it. But why are you stuck on defense? Because what's the point in playing defense your entire life, to be struck with an illness, to then not be capable of walking, to then lose your life, to then losing a loved one? Like, if it's so limited, aggressively pursue what you want, and then that way, if it all comes crumbling down, you can sit back a bit and go, well, it was worth it. I know that I physically did everything that I could. And that's always been my mentality, to, again, aggressively pursue whatever I want, because I know just like that, it could be taken away. So why would I ever play defense? I'm just not a defense type of guy.
I think naturally from such a young age, we're all babied to kind of, and to play defense, really. It's like, don't jump off that like tall of a couch or something because it's too tall, you might hurt yourself, or don't do that because you might risk losing things. So it's kind of being trained into our heads already for people to just play defense in life. And so then when it comes to someone to, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pursue what I want to do in life, it's that risk, and people are like, oh no, don't take that. And people let the outside voices get to their heads instead of listening to what they really, really want. Deep down, you know that you want to quit your job and you want to go pursue what you want to pursue, but you're letting the ego of others get into your head, really. But and also, like, on the other hand, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just have to stick it out. So that's another thing. But I think people really don't understand the true perspective of time. Everyone knows that we all have limited time. You can ask anyone. We all have limited time on this earth, but no one really understands how special that is. Really, for us to actually be around at this time, it's crazy. Like, the chances of us being born and kind of like making it into this world was already a hard percentage. So what's stopping? Well, like, why should we let that kind of like make us play it safe? Like, we should be taking that percentage of a chance of like, hey, we were gifted with this life. Let's pursue what we want to pursue.
Hold on with both hands and actually be taking all that it was worth from it, because it's so hard to even get there. And on what you're saying, it isn't just nurture as well, where your baby, right? Nature plays a huge part into it, because just the way your brain works, right? And this is just taking it that next step. The way your brain actually works is you, of course, avoid danger at all costs. And it's the same story where if you grab a hot pan, naturally, before you can think, your body reacts to take your hand away from the pan itself, because just the way your nervous system reacts, straight away you go on the defense, you eject out of that hot situation. And so even just like us physically, we're not born or kind of, we're not created, made, whatever term you want to use, but we're not meant to naturally take risks. But that's when you have to have that perspective, and you're going, well, how precious is time? And let's weigh it up. Is time precious enough that I need to go against my nature? I need to go against what I've been told. I need to go against what society tells me to do. I need to go against what my mother, what my father, what my brother, what my sister, what the school education taught me, what the media I consume. I got to go against all of that, because at the end of the day, how precious is it? And if it is precious and it actually outweighs that, then screw nature, screw nurture. Let's go on the attack. Let's go on the offense, and let's try and go after what we actually want.
How bad do you really want it? Is the question that you need to ask yourself. Because like, we all let the voices get to our heads, and the moment we block that out and we just start listening to what we really want, and we jump at fear and we play like what you're saying, if we attack, there's growth in that. And why should, like, we're so limited on time, it's why should we kind of be opposed to failing on something? Because at the end of the day, we can try again. Perseverance is key, really. And it's also like, it's not to it's not about like, let's take the risk of I'm quitting my job or let's go do that. Like, it's not about that really. It's also like another flip side of time is, I'm going to go on that holiday, or I'm going to go do that thing that I really want. Because at the end of the day, like, who knows when time is up? So why hold yourself back from doing the things that you actually really love in life?
Yeah. Because I know you've carried that similar mindset. Like what you're saying, like this, it hit you, I guess, in another level.
Yeah.
But how long or how much do you normally play offense to defense, and how do you carry kind of yourself with that mentality? Because I know you do it. So
yeah, it kind of really depends on where life is really at for me. Yeah. I always tried to play attack, but sometimes I'm forced to play defense because things happen that we don't expect, and you have to play defense for a little bit. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't stop. Like, you should just full up stop attacking. Play your defense, kind of like do what you need to do to kind of keep your life going and keep everyone around you going. But also in the background, do stuff that will also build you up for when you can actually go full out on attack.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a huge difference, and I don't want people to lose that, because there's a difference, right? Because a lot of people depending on how you take the mentality, a lot of people think they play offense because they go out and party all the time, because they go out and just like have experiences like that. There's no kind of disciplines, there's no defense like you're saying. But there is a specific time to play defense, exactly what you're saying. If stuff is happening, if you need to regroup, if you need to get your thoughts in it, hang on, now's not the time to be going out guns blazing. You got to really be careful. You got to be very calculative. You got to understand what's going on and then move accordingly, like a chessboard. There's a time to be going out and attacking in some other sport or in some other form, but there's plenty of times you have to sit down and play chess and actually be very strategic with your moves. But I think a lot of people, like in the sense that how I'm speaking about it, it doesn't even necessarily mean like just go nuts and kind of live in the moment 24/7. It could also be aggressively pursuing something, so you have the discipline, so you're staying at home. It's just more on, hang on, go through attack, take the offense, because if you sit back and try to move within the means of the world, we all know the whole game that we're all playing, it's all set up for us to fail. Like, similar to what we were just talking about, you got these big fish saying to these little fish in a pond about what do you actually have to lose, because I'm up here, you're down here. Do you want to close the gap or not? It's talking about it in that sense, because if you aggressively pursue that, trying to close the gap between kind of the 99% and that 1%, then be aggressive in that nature, make moves accordingly. You understand the game, understand the mechanics, and then try to move towards bettering yourself, then happy days, do that. But there's that fine difference where people just indulge themselves all the time, right? But you're still playing defense. You're still playing towards their rules. So it doesn't matter if you think you're going out there and living your life. Aren't you trapped in the same cycle that they designed? And if they designed it for you to fail, then you truly are playing defense if you're not pushing back against that machine. But if you are actually going on the offense, if you are actually attacking, then you could still be at home. You don't have to be going out and doing anything, but you could be putting in that grind, putting in that work to position yourself to escape the game that you've already been put in. Because like we're saying, it's a losing game.
It is a losing game.
And time is precious. So if time is precious and you're already in the losing game, what are you going to do to make it different? I'm done. Let's go.
Oh shit. Shit. Damn. That was so good. Honestly, you topped it off really well right there. Honestly, I think there's three things in my head that's kind of like pretty important for people to know as well. Balance, perseverance, and determination. Balance is like, because sometimes like we've been saying, you can't play offense all the time. Sometimes you gotta play defense. Perseverance. If you get knocked down, you gotta come back 10 times harder.
Yeah.
And then determination is, how bad do you really want it? How bad do you want to be changing your life? And people should realize we all have limited time on this earth, but at the same time we have a lot of time on this earth, judging based on the average lifespan. So it's like we gotta find that balance of where we indulge in ourselves, but also work to better ourselves. And being so young, we have time on our side, but at the same time, we shouldn't play it safe constantly just because time is on our side.
Yeah. No, definitely. And that is where 100% all the young people, all people just in high school, just finishing high school, that's exactly where they get stuck. And it's their parents, it's society, it's you're young, you have time.
Yep.
And well, how much time do you have? Because like we're saying, it can be taken away from you. Or cool, you have time. Let's say you live the healthiest life ever and you go all the way to the very end. Do you still think you have time? Like, is 80 years enough for you to say I've got plenty of time? Because if you're thinking about it in a certain way, I know for me, it's not. So if it isn't, if it is limited, if 80, 90 years is limited, then like what you're saying, it's time to then be, in a sense, aggressively pursuing certain things because you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But if you fall into the trap of thinking you have plenty of time, then you will be playing defense because what does it matter?
And it's so, I guess a good point to add to it is while you're young, really, you should be chasing whatever you want, because like if it fails, like you just get back and you might only lost a year or two, but that's not really a loss because you can take the learning experience from it and put it against what you want to do again. It's all about jumping back and trying to go again. Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, exactly. So is it a loss if you can extract something from it?
Yeah.
So do you lose time if you extract valuable lessons from it? Well, you don't. Like, that's experience then. And
any
experience
failure is a revenue stream.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, exactly. And every failure, is a lesson. Every single lesson is wisdom that you can use later to make sure you win at another situation.
It's all about improving yourself, really. We all get caught up in this like rat race that we're like, we got to be better than one another, really.
System, yeah.
And the system was created to keep us in this system. Once you finish school, go to uni or get a job straight away. Climb up the corporate ladder,
just in the rat wheel.
And then before you know it, you've gotten married, then you've had kids, then you've taken on debt for your house, and you're stuck there, really. Well, you're not really stuck, but it's a lot harder to get out. And that's why this is what I wanted to talk about earlier when I said I lost my train of thought. We all get caught up in this system that once we realize that we're in it too late, we shy away from jumping at it.
Go on defense.
We just play defense for like the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
really. We're all just like, I got to do this because I have to do this. Oh, I can't afford this because I just can't afford it. But what people should be realizing, if you're in that position, it's how can I do things? That's how you should be wording it. How can I afford this? How can I recover from this debt? How can I recover from this like lifestyle that I'm living? But for the people who are younger, it's do what you can now before you get to that stage. And if like what I was saying before, any failure is a revenue stream. But so take your time now to kind of work on your craft, to master your craft, do what you need to do, and hopefully by the time you're like 40, 50, 30 or 20s really, you find your success.
And what you've just said, so you got how can I? That's offense. Because as soon as you're saying how can I get out of debt, how can I remove myself from that situation, like game's on, like you're playing offense right there, you're attacking it. But it's when you're just saying that mindset where it's this is what it is, it's designed this way, the system's like this, there's nothing I can do, I don't have any power, I've got no control over these situations, then you're playing defense. And that it's those kind of, that's like the line, and it's a thin line, no doubt, but that is the line between offense and defense, between winner and loser, between victor and victim. It's as simple as a word change like that. And you need to make that change because the time is nothing. Time is running out.
Well, time is so limited really that don't take life for granted for what it is. And it's never too late. That's what people should realize as well. Like, even though time is limited, it's never too late to change your life. We all have the opportunity. Like, I think we live in the greatest time right now. And that's what everyone was saying at the conference. We live in the greatest time right now where we can change our lives in a heartbeat. Social media these days, the internet, like, it's opened gateways for people to make money, really, to kind of change their lifestyle. So, like, I remember at the event, there was one person who was sitting at the front of the stage, and I think it was when Grant Cardone was speaking, and Grant was like, "Hey, so how much money do you make?" And I think, I can't remember if it was a guy or a girl, or if it was like a couple or a partner, but that person was like, "I was 50,000 in debt 6 months ago, but now I'm 6 million in revenue." And see, like, in that time span, really, like, you can change your life. So what people need to drill into their head is, don't take life for granted. Time is limited. Do what you want to do. Don't do what the society wants you to do. The system was designed to keep us in here. But the moment you realize that you want to do more, you just have to act on it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Prometheus Podcast, where we aim to bring the fire back to the people.